My dear brothers and sisters, today as we reflect on the Word of God, I would like to recall a beautiful saint, Saint Joan of the Arc. She lived in France. She was a lot into prayer, and Jesus often spoke to her. She heard the voice of God, and every time she used to hear Jesus telling her something, she used to go and tell about it to Charles, who was the Dauphin of France. He was like the Prince of France. So she used to go and tell him, see, Jesus told me about this, Jesus told me about that, Jesus said this to me. And every time he used to listen to her. And one day, Charles asks Joan of the Arc, Joan, every time you come and tell me, Jesus has told me this, Jesus has told me that, only you hear the voice of Jesus. You are no one. I am the Prince of France, but I don't hear any voice of Jesus. Why is that voice speaking only to you? Why is it not speaking to me? And that's when Joan of the Arc tells Charles, the voice of Jesus is also speaking to you the way that voice is speaking to me, but you are not paying heed to that voice. You are not listening to that voice. My dear friends, it is so true. The voice of God keeps talking to us, keeps prompting us so often, but we don't listen to that voice of God within. We don't listen to the promptings of the Lord very often, and that is why we fall into sin. But here today we celebrate the feast of a great saint who heard the voice of God and who went according to the will of God. Saint Joseph followed whatever the Lord told him, and the church today remembers him in a very special way. During the Lent season, we don't often celebrate feast and solemnities, but we have these two main solemnities, Joseph, and on 25th March, it is the Annunciation of Mother Mary. So these are the two feasts that we celebrate, the two solemnities that we celebrate during the Lent season. My dear friends, Saint Joseph was a special saint, and Saint Alphonsus Ligari tells us that we need to honor Saint Joseph because Jesus honored him by calling him father, by calling him daddy. Jesus honored Saint Joseph, so we need to honor him. That's what Saint Alphonsus Ligari says. My dear friends, Saint Joseph always listened to the promptings of the Lord within him, and we see that in today's gospel. There are 4 dreams that we hear of in the life of Saint Joseph. There must have been many more, but the word of God tells us about 4 dreams. The first dream we find in Matthew chapter 1, verses 20 to 21, wherein Saint Joseph is told in a dream, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, because she has received this child from the Holy Spirit. We hear this in today's gospel. This was the first dream, and he went according to it. The second dream was when Herod wanted to destroy the child. In Matthew chapter 2 verse 13, we hear it said, rise, take the child and mother and flee to Egypt and stay there until I tell you, because Herod wants to destroy the child. Joseph rushed to Egypt with his wife, Mother Mary, and with the child Jesus. The third dream we see in Matthew chapter 2 verse 20, wherein he's told, rise, take the child and mother and go to Israel, for those who sought the child's life are dead. So he was told to go back to Israel. That we find in Matthew chapter 2 verse 20. The fourth dream in Matthew chapter 2 verse 22, he's warned not to go to Judea because Archelaus, the son of Herod, had succeeded him, and therefore he goes to Galilee. Saint Joseph always followed the voice of the Lord. My dear friends, Saint Joseph also went out of the way for Mother Mary and for Jesus. We see that in so many instances. We see during the pregnancy of Mother Mary, so much of trouble he took. We see when Jesus was lost in the temple, he took his responsibility as a father very seriously. And this is what he teaches us, to go out of the way. Today there are so many men who are going out of the way for their families. There are so many husbands and fathers who are going out of the way. They are toiling so that their children may get a good education. They are toiling hard, working hard so that their family may enjoy a good life, a decent life. My dear friends, let us today remember to pray for all our fathers, for our brothers, for our husbands, for our son, for all the men of the family. We have Women's Day, and today let us remember to pray for the men. And Saint Anthony is a very powerful intercessor for us. He also, like Saint Joseph, listened to the voice of God within him, and followed what God wanted him to do. So let us ask for his intercession as we celebrate this holy Mass.